Christchurch, aka Ototahi, discovered back in the 1870s. Nah. One of the most beautiful parts of the city that hasn't been affected by the earthquake. And I used to spend a lot of time here as a kid. It's one of the main beaches when you grow up on the east side. It's definitely something that is part of my life and part of my childhood and part of my present.
Ever since I was a kid, I had something to say. Rockin' mics was a dream.
Hello, my name is Scribe, aka Scribble, aka the Dan Carter Rap, aka Sonny Bill with the Flow, aka the Crusader, formerly known as D-Style. First rap name was Coconut Ice. My mum named me Joshua. She was going through a big Christian phase. My dad was in jail. And when my dad got out of jail, he said, nah, his name's not Joshua. His name's Malo, which translates to lucky, victory, whatever you like. Definitely, I get all my music talent from my dad, and I was lucky to grow up around a lot of music that he had provided through his band. When I come to Christchurch, I always stay here, my old man and my old lady. Just jam it out. I've always had good friends, always had good family. I was going through a really bad gambling and drug and alcohol addiction. And those people are the ones that have stuck by me through that stuff. I mean, as embarrassing as it was, it actually became one of the most liberating things to ever happen to me. I let go of a lot of stuff, and I was actually dealing with my addictions and bettering myself, and that was actually one of the things that really catapulted me into my field now, which is in the health field with other problem gamblers. And it's actually a blessing because I go to communities and I'm talking to people and I'm looking at them, and when they talk to me, I'm telling them my stories and they can relate. They're actually talking to someone who's been there and done that. So I feel like it's a calling. I almost feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
We can't not stop now. New Zealand hip-hop, stand up. We got it locked down. I'm ready.
The main thing for me was like the fame was something that I felt really hard to kind of come to terms with, because it was such an overnight thing for us, from being like no one to someone. It was a hard transition to make.
I walk ball and chain for the midnight rain I'd sing.
Like, I'd been struggling with hip-hop for like 5 years prior to Crusader coming out. And then once I had a baby, I started kind of coming into the real world, like, what am I gonna do to support them? So the Crusader was actually my last-ditch effort. I just finished my welding ticket, and I had a welder's job lined up. So going to the Crusader when it was dropping, I had no idea that it was gonna do what it did. I mean, all my dreams and everything that I'd always just hoped for actually came true. And I suppose that's why now I'm at a point where I really feel like I've achieved my dream. I feel like I've done everything I wanted to do. And so that's why I spend more of my time these days with my kids and with other people's kids. This is Hamish Kelly, AKA That Kid. He actually won my Scribe With Me competition to prevent problem gambling. This guy actually won the iPads right here. He won the iPad. I gave it to him. He's good, man. This is one of Christchurch's upcoming talents.
I be jamming to the subs, waiting for a cup to fuss. Put his lights on and give a ticket cause he's just. Respect is earned by the way you show trust. And a friend ain't someone who just wanna bail when it's tough. We got kids growing up, knowing way too much.
You know, you get people like, oh, I wanna be famous. And I'm like, no, you don't wanna be famous. You want the fortune and you want the success, but being famous at first can seem really cool. But after a while, it's actually quite draining, and I definitely am grateful and see myself as one of the lucky ones that actually did become a career, and it's something that I spend my time now trying to nurture that and nurture the kids like me that came up from, you know, being a disadvantaged youth at risk, and then being in love with hip hop the way I was, and just encouraging them to pursue that dream.
Dreaming of a city where none of this had begun, though I'll always rip my city when they ask me where I'm from, and I'm taking this.
Yeah, it means more to me than any plaque and more to me than any TUI award. Just seeing kids being able to do what they love.
Yo, I am a East Canterbury, Hampshire, dairy dweller, Avenue block runner, made it to the top from a kid with nowhere to go, rapping on the corner, representing East Side, long as Ben, Fred, and Lorna, and I warn ya, I'm a patriot. It's the Crusader clique, Christchurch is the greatest, Phillipstown is the craziest, 03's where it's at, we wear the red and black.
So I was in both quakes. I was in the September quake and the February quake. And the September quake was crazy, man. it was like, because no one died, we were kind of like, cool, man, this is a real cool adventure because there was no power. There was a lot of civil defense things going on and it was a big new experience. But after that February quake, that kind of just shook my whole world. I feel like my life is synonymous with my city because, you know, I'd just gone through my major disaster in my career, in my life, and then 3 weeks later, Christchurch City got hit hard and I lost one of my cousins who I was living with at the time, Jeff Sant, rest in peace. And that was like probably one of the lowest points of my life.
Sometimes it just feels like I'm all alone. Got no one to call on the phone, feel like I'm all
I couldn't do it anymore. I buried my cousin and the next day I jumped on a plane and moved to Wellington. For my children, it's the best thing. So coming back to Christchurch, you know, I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I mean, look at this place. Just take a look around and even though the earthquake happened and our city is gone, there's still a lot of beauty that I see around Christchurch City, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't grow up anywhere else but here. I'm actually in the best place I've ever been in my whole life. Like, actually, I'm now starting to get back into my music career and feel like, oh, you know what? I think I want to do some music. I want to make some music. So I'm really at a point with my MCing and my journey where I'm trying to just get my honest expression and really just express what it is I'm feeling, what it is I want to say. I'm not trying to make another #1. I'm not trying to get played on radio. I'm just trying to say what's really on my mind, what's really in here.
I'm about to spread my wings, now watch me fly how high I soar. For the first time I am sure that this is the reason I was born.
As an MC, as long as I'm staying true to myself and staying true to what I believe, it's going to be a success no matter how many units I sell. That doesn't determine to me what is successful. Finally can see clearly what it is I want to do and how I'm going to get there, so stay tuned.